Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely flip the script on how we look at human hardship, personal growth, and what it really means to build a true welfare society. We're going to explore a framework that challenges how we view family struggles, specifically raising a child with disabilities. Instead of seeing hardship as just, bad luck, we're going to look at it through the lens of intentional design and societal evolution. It's a fascinating journey that takes us from the deeply personal struggles of a single family all the way up to the macro structure of our future society. Right off the bat, I want you to ask yourself this incredibly powerful rhetorical question. If the whole point of our existence is simply to live a quote-unquote normal life, to eat, survive, and just get by like everyone else, why on earth would we be given such immense, life-altering hardships in the first place? This question immediately challenges the conventional views we hold about dealing with disabilities or profound family struggles. Usually, we look at these situations and think, how can we just get things back to normal? But what if normal isn't the goal at all? Okay, let's dive into this. To really wrap our heads around this philosophy, we have to look at human history in two distinct phases. In the past era, humanity was basically in a purely evolutionary phase. We were intensely focused on basic survival, building up our infrastructure, and progressing physically. But today, in the present era, that basic development is pretty much complete. We've shifted into an era where we must actively use that development to search for deeper meaning. We aren't just trying to survive our environment anymore. We're actually meant to find the answers hidden within it.
Section 1. The hidden purpose of disability. Beyond just overcoming.
Zooming all the way into the deeply personal experience of a family, it is so easy to fall into what we can call the conventional trap. When a family has a child with a disability, the immediate, completely understandable instinct is to view it as a physical hurdle, just something to be overcome. The ultimate goal often becomes striving to achieve a life that's as close to normal as possible. But here's the thing, focusing only on survival, basic sustenance, and making sure the child can just live slightly better than average is actually a massive missed opportunity. If that's all you do, you are completely missing the deeper underlying lesson that this specific environment was meant to teach you.
Which brings us to this incredibly striking thought experiment. Think about it. If the ultimate grand plan for this family was simply to live just like everyone else, why wouldn't they just be born without those disabilities in the first place? The philosophical view presented here is impartial but deeply provocative. It suggests that nature, or higher power, intentionally provides these specific, profound challenges to a family for a distinct reason. It's absolutely not a punishment, it is a purpose.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this crucial redefinition of hardship: study material. This philosophy argues that a child with a disability, or any major family challenge for that matter, is actually study material provided by nature. It's a deliberate curriculum. It is intended not as this heavy burden meant to crush you, but as a profound, custom-made lesson for the spiritual and personal growth of the parents and the entire family unit. Think about how radically this shifts a caregiver's mindset. Your job isn't just acting as a caregiver treating a physical condition. Actually, scratch that. It's way bigger than that. Your true task is to absorb the lessons embedded in this unique environment and fundamentally change how you live your life. By interacting with the child, the medical system, other families, parents are supposed to be learning, adapting, and expanding their own internal capacity. The growth of the parents is literally the actual goal of this study material.
Section 2. Growing into societal leaders, turning personal lessons into public guidance.
So how exactly does this personal growth radiate outward? Well, there is a very clear progression here. Step 1 is simply accepting the lesson, realizing that, okay, this is my study material. Step 2 happens totally naturally as a result of the child's condition. You're forced to navigate specialized facilities, you deal with doctors, and most importantly, you meet other families dealing with the exact same struggles. You are connecting with people in similar environments. Finally, step 3. Because you've absorbed these lessons and walked this incredibly difficult path, you now possess a unique wisdom. You step up to become a guiding leader for the broader community, helping those who are newly facing these exact same challenges.
So, the absolute crucial point here is this concept of doing high-quality work. In this framework, true success isn't defined by how much money you make, it's defined by the quality of work you provide to society. When a parent uses their lived experience to provide real guidance to new families, when they deliver profound messages to society about empathy and structure, they begin operating on a much higher frequency. They literally become community leaders. This is what it means to be truly successful, utilizing your painful study material to heal and lead others.
Conversely, there is a very stark warning here from the source material. If you fail to extract these lessons, if you just focus on feeding your family and getting through the day, you are missing your life's true purpose. It's the equivalent of being given a textbook for a vital exam and just leaving that study material completely untouched on your desk. No matter how well you manage the physical symptoms of the disability, if you don't grow and eventually use that growth to help others, you haven't truly lived your life to its intended potential.
Section 3. Redefining true welfare, the macro view of a joyful society.
Now, let's zoom back out to the macro level. Look at how society structures welfare. Usually, we buy into the welfare myth. When we hear welfare society, we picture a system defined by massive numbers of welfare recipients, constant financial handouts, and people barely scraping by on government aid. But on the flip side is the welfare truth. A true welfare society is one where people live entirely without the struggle to survive simply because they are actively engaged in doing joyful, purposeful work.
This really redefines the core concept of this entire explainer. A welfare society isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's not just about reattaching a broken leg and sending someone on their way. It's a state of joyful, purposeful existence. It is an environment where every single individual, completely regardless of their physical abilities, has the fundamental right and opportunity to live a meaningful life, entirely free from the daily, grinding anxiety of basic survival.
I absolutely love this quote because it hits the nail on the head. If you are doing meaningful and rewarding work, who would let you starve? Automatically, you are set up to live without worrying about survival. This perfectly illustrates a deep underlying faith in how the world operates. It's the belief that nature, or society at large, automatically supports those who find and act on their true purpose. If you do that high-quality work we talked about earlier, your basic survival will naturally be taken care of.
Section 4. A future of joyful purpose, the role of intellectuals and the next generation. So how in the world do we actually implement this massive paradigm shift? Well, first, we have to face a pretty sharp critique of our modern world. The reason society currently struggles, the reason our welfare systems so often feel incredibly broken and people feel lost, is because the underlying principles of how we should live haven't been properly researched or illuminated. We have focused so much on the medical and economic sides of disability and hardship that we've completely ignored the spiritual and philosophical frameworks required to turn that hardship into societal growth.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where the responsibility lies, right squarely on the shoulders of today's intellectuals, thinkers, and leaders. They have a clear three-part mission. First, they absolutely must research and establish these deeper life principles. Second, education has got to move far beyond the shallow goal of simply making students wealthy or economically competitive. And finally, they must actively design a society where future generations can find immense joy and profound purpose in their specific roles. Because true welfare is a society built on joy, not just economics.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this final provocative question. Think about your own life and the unique challenges you face. Are we merely trying to survive our hardships? Are we all just trying to get back to normal? Or are we missing the profound, deliberate lessons, our very own study material that was specifically meant to elevate both ourselves and our entire society? Because when we change how we view our hardest moments, we might just unlock our greatest purpose. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.